MMA update, special edition. We're going to break down the Invicta 14 card. I'm joined with a couple guys. One of them you know from the latest update, and that's my buddy Jay Nugg. Jay, how you doing, my brother?
Pretty good. Tired.
Yeah.
Ready to do this.
And then, of course, I'm joined by my great friend and partner, Aaron. Aaron, how the hell you doing over there in Australia at like 4:15 a.m.?
Yeah, I was going to say good for 4:15 a.m. Yeah.
You are a trooper. Listen, this is a pretty big card coming up. We got 10 fights on the card. Evinger is going to be going for it again. She's what has she got? 7 victories here in a row. Just a huge victory in Vegas, a beatdown, severe beatdown in her last fight. And she's going to be, going up against, and let me pronounce her name right, Penny Kinizet, and who's 8-0. It looks like it's going to be a hell of a fight, man. Now, Jay, you've been to every Invicta event. How do you see this fight playing out?
I think that the way Penny is, she's definitely high energy. She's likes to keep it moving. And the way Tanya's fighting anymore, like you saw her last fight, she was kind of mixing it up the way she was just going for those takedowns. She was just getting right in Irene's face. I think that's going to play a big part if she does it again, because the way she had her hands down, I see Penny going for a headshot, a good amount of time. But I think Tanya is definitely experienced enough to know, after feeling her out for a little bit, what she can and can't work with. But I definitely see Tanya trying to take her down and going from there. As far as Penny, I think she's just going to pretty much just work whatever she can.
I gotta agree. I mean, I look at it and I see, myself looking at Evinger, and the weight cut she went through last time was brutal. I was really concerned about her being able to fight. She was,
She threw up.
Well, yeah, and she had no problems fighting. She was a killer. Now, Aaron, you've been watching Invicta and these girls for a long time as well. What do you see in this fight? Do you think Evinger has really got a big advantage coming into this fight?
Yeah, I do. I mean, her takedown defense is excellent. Like, from her last fight alone, you could see it. Like, it was really good. And she's got solid striking. I mean, it's excellent. But Evinger's Evinger. I mean, she's on just a massive win streak. And she's in a zone, and she's going to be hard to beat. Like, it's one of those fights that's going to be fun to watch, but I kind of still see Evinger kind of eventually getting it to the ground and just taking it from there.
Yeah, and let's be honest. Tanya enjoys fighting, and she enjoys putting the beat down on people, and you've seen it in her last fight. And interviewing and speaking with Tanya, you see that sparkle in her eye. She really does enjoy what she's doing, and I agree with you. I think that she has got the momentum, even though we're looking over at Penny and she's 8-0. She's yet to lose a fight, and that's a dangerous fighter with the confidence like that. But I don't think she's ever went in there against someone like Evinger before. Jay, when you look at these two fighters, what sticks out to you the most? Now, to me, I know Evinger a lot more than I do with Penny, and I can see, for Evinger anyways, the mental game is strong. She is mentally strong.
As she said to you, for her, it was a big thing was that she got really tired of seeing all the other people that have been fighting from the same time she was, all the other females. And she's seeing all these people around her, like friends and stuff like that, like losing, and she's like, I don't want to be there. And she's like, I'm still in it. I want a title, and it took years and years, and I want to see her title for personally a very long time. And I think the fact for her to overcome, she fought Alexis Davis twice, and during that time period, it was kind of like, people forget her name or something like that, to where she is now.
Yep.
And I think that's pretty big. So I think for her, that definitely is going to be hard to kind of break her mentally. And, when you look at a record like that, especially if you've only seen her fight in Invicta the one time. I know for a lot of people that makes her brand new. A lot of these girls from other countries, they could have like 9-2 or something like that, still brand new. I mean, look at what happened with Michelle Watterson. I mean, everyone thought that was going to be a clean swipe.
Yep.
Only person I knew that called that right was my cousin, and it was my show.
Yep.
I still am glad I didn't bet him. So I feel mentally she's not going to break down at all. But I think the other side of that coin is with Panic, you have to understand. In other countries, especially women, like coming to the States, that's where the real competition is. Because that's where we have more gyms and stuff. That's such a big country. So that hunger is there because people don't know who she is.
That's right.
And she's undefeated. So I don't think she's going to come in like thinking she's big and bad from her interviews and talk to her personally. I think she really isn't underestimating this fight, but I think she really has a strong drive for it. So you have one person trying to really get out there and hit it big, versus you have someone who fought so long to get back to that stardom level. And because of time now, she surpassed that, but now she actually has a belt.
Yeah, and that's true. And Jay, listen, you can never underestimate confidence. It's a dangerous fighter that comes in the cage confident, and you know she's yet to lose. Now, Aaron, if you're picking a fight on this one, and I'm not going to ask you to pick fights on all of the cards, but I'm curious, who are you going with in this fight for the title, and why?
Well, I got to agree with Jay. Like, the big thing I see with Evander is like she really came into her zone because she owned who she was. You know, like she built her confidence because of who she was, and that's what's got her that winning streak. Like, she's always had the skill sets, but it's just once she started kind of going, well, kind of fuck it, you know, this is who I am, this is what I am, and she just kind of owned who she was. She just started that whole mentality and that strength came from within her, you know?
Yeah.
And that was a big thing. So, you know, I've got to go with her just on her wrestling skills because that's something that, you know, she's got very good striking, but the thing is, you know, a lot of her competitions come over from the UK and Europe, obviously, but they just don't have that depth of the wrestling.
Yeah.
That's something that Evan's going to bring to the table. That's, you know, so it's a whole different ball game. So I'm going to go with Evan.
I have to 100% agree with that, and just the fact of speaking with Tanya and looking her in the eyes and seeing how much she enjoyed that last fight that she had, and then the weight cut, how hard it was for her, and I was really impressed with her as a fighter and as a person, man. So I agree. I'm going with Tanya in this fight too. I think she's going to keep that title. And then we're going down to the 155 or 115 pound division. Excuse me, I'm still stuck with that 155 pound, Jay. But we're going to 115, right? And now we've got Katja the Killer Bunny. She lost her title to the Brazilian gangster, Livia Souza, right? And she's going to be taking on Bennett. Now, Bennett's 7-0, and she's coming into this fight. She's, you know, ranked 6th in the world, I believe, and that's in the top 10 with the UFC as well. She's got a lot on the line here with this fight. Again, the Killer Bunny is coming off of that defeat. This fight, I think, is going to really be a sleeper. I'm looking for Bennett in this fight to come out and establish her dominance and her streak. I think she's going to be in the UFC before very long. Now, Aaron, on this fight right here, because I know that you know a little bit about the pressure and the power that this young lady Bennett brings to the game, and she's 7-0. So we're dealing again with another fighter that is yet to lose, is confident, extremely dangerous. How do you see this one going? I mean, if you had to pick a winner on this fight, for me, I automatically am going with Bennett that fast.
Yeah, I'm with you. Yeah, I see Bennett taking it. It's not an easy fight for her. Katja's got great submission skills, but Bennett, she's a good all-rounder, and she's just got a lot of heart too. Like, she's really got a lot of heart in the cage, you know. But yeah, I see her, to be honest, I actually see her as one of those people that, like, if she keeps that winning streak going, I just see it kind of ending up in the UFC next year.
Yeah.
She's just got that kind of character, that kind of quirky personality that'll just drive it through it, and they won't be able to say no, you know what I mean?
And that's the key. That's the key right there, Aaron, because it's not just the record and her ability to fight. We've learned this now over and over. Personality and being able to, reach out to the fans to bring the numbers is just as important, and she's able to do that. She's extremely impressive, And Katja, like you said, she's got a great ground game, and if you look at that fight she had with the Brazilian gangster, you could see those guys. Awesome transitions. It was a really impressive fight. But, Jay, you've got the experience. You've been to every Invicta. What do you see in this fight, and why? Why do you think it's going to go the way you think? Honestly, I just can't see Bennett losing this fight. I really can't.
I see it as two outcomes. I'd say maybe 70% chance of Deanna winning by decision, or 30% Katja getting a submission. And I say that because don't forget about when Katja fought Snowflake. She was losing completely, and then submission.
Yeah.
And a lot of people are like, "We want a rematch." I was like, "Well, that's part of the game, man. You get that submission, and that's the whole for practicing. It's about taking advantage of any position you're in." And I think if Deanna wins, it's going to be by decision, because while I've seen her definitely put on a good show, a lot of times her fights are like, she's playing it to where she's got safe chances to get a shot in. And I mean, there's nothing wrong with that. You get it in. I like that. But the fact is, the way Katja fights, I see it her controlling the pace more and making sure she doesn't get a submission done on her and it going by decision. And I definitely agree with what you said, Aaron, about her being in UFC within the year if she wins, because it is about how you can sell tickets, and it's not just about how your marketing skills. That's about, in general, how good of a character you are. And like I told her, she comes out to music that I listen to that no one else does. I dig that. She comes out to some very ill sparkly boots. I dig that. She's really cool to talk to, and she knows how to sell herself big time. So I'm like, all in all, it's entertaining. And when you watch her fights, she makes sure she's controlling you. At the end of the day, I don't want to be the person losing. If you didn't beat me and it comes to a decision, that is your fault for not making it win. I did not do a bad job in the fight. So I had no problem with that play style. I prefer to see people just going at it, because that's what I like. But I completely understand and respect that, because I damn sure don't want to be the person losing. So I think Deanna is most likely going to get that by decision. I'm not going to say for certain, because I thought I was doing pretty good in a few fights sometimes, and I got caught. So
That's true. That's true. You know what? For me, when I look at this, always when you have a specialist on the ground, there's always that chance of a submission. I mean, it's always going to be there. And I disagree a little bit. I think that as opposed to playing it safe, I think that Bennett knows what's on the line in this fight. I think she understands. All eyes are on her. She is, like both you guys have said, that close to the call to the UFC. And with a really impressive win here, I really think that it's just literally a matter of time, and it could be a lot quicker than we think.
Well, I think Jay is definitely right though. Like, she does have that conservative side to her, but yeah, I guess it'll be interesting because Katja can definitely pull out the subs out of anyway. So
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. It'll definitely be one of those interesting. Does she? Doesn't she play that conservative role? So.
And I think either way, she's on the way to UFC regardless. So I don't see the point of putting a big risk out there for it. I mean, Amanda Nunes had a fight in Invicta one time, and then she had an injury, but as soon as she was signed to Invicta, she was ready to go. You know what I mean? So I don't know if that's coincidence or what. I got mad respect for Amanda Nunes, but the fact is, when it comes to your career and your business, you want to secure that. And I don't fault none of that either.
Well, it's a fact. Listen, nobody wants to lose, but then again, as a fan, nobody wants to see a repeat of like a Mir Orlovsky, where you got two guys in there just trying not to lose. So I want I want to see these girls go at it. I want to see Bennett lay it all on the line. I think she's got the skills and the talent, and I think the personality is a huge, huge thing that's going to help her, and it's going to aid her getting to the UFC fast. But now the next one, the happy warrior, Roxanne Modafferi, and she's going against a really young 20-year-old. And listen, her record, she's kicking butt too. She's 9-2. She's a finisher. She's got some power in her hands. Heavy ground. You know, how do you guys see it with Marcia and Roxanne going at it?
Well, Marcia, she's what, 9-2 or something like that, I believe. She's got a pretty good, as far as her finish and stuff like that. I think she holds her own pretty good. I've only seen about 3 of her fights, but I definitely think that she's pretty well rounded. I can't say too much about her personally, as from what I know her expertise is in, but I know she definitely likes to go for a submission. Based on her record and the fights I have seen. But Roxanne's a whiz on the ground. I mean, she's the only person to beat Jennifer House. She did it twice. And I love bringing that fact anytime she's brought up, because that's back in the day, back when they're going to like Laura de Augusta and stuff like that. So if y'all don't know about that era, you need to go back and look, because that's what this shit's about. And that's when you fight the football fields.
There you go.
You could always pull out the Sarah Kaufman and Roxanne fight, but at the end of the day, like, she's still here, and like Tony, she's not planning on leaving, and I think that's more dangerous than a person who's never been defeated.
Yeah.
And in this case, neither of them have, but it's like, when you look at who's got more to lose, I mean, Roxanne's career has went up and down, and look where she's at now. She's, people know her by name because, UFC and all that, and she's still doing it, and she's improving. I mean, she fought KGB.
That's a perfect point, though, right there, Jay, because now Roxanne had a tough loss to Vanessa Porto, right? Mm-hmm. And now, Aaron, and this is something, because you understand the fact of her skill and her knowledge. She's been in the game a long time. Do you think that that's going to be a big factor in this fight, is Roxanne's experience and the way she approaches this? Because I don't know, is she gonna? She is a wizard on the ground, but is she going to try to keep this fight standing? Do you think, or is she going to go right to the ground?
Yeah, definitely. Actually, it's funny you say that, because the first thing I thought is, I thought actually, because they're both so good on the ground, I actually thought that there's probably something that Roxy might actually try and keep standing, because the biggest thing that she's had an improvement over the last couple of years has been her stand-up. So, and her opponent, she's had most of her finishes in subs, I think, in the first round.
Yeah.
Memory. Most of them have come by the first round. So it's something that's probably going to be, pretty even, or go close head-to-head in that area. So to me, I think the experience, Roxy's just probably going to go, hey, well, I'll keep it standing.
Yeah.
I mean, you look at what happened with KGB. Okay, KGB took it on short notice, but hey, I mean, we're talking KGB. It's kickboxer, a legacy fighter. It's
all in love.
That was, it's no small feat. So to me, that's where I see it happening, is the experience and a bit of playing through the little syndicate gym there.
Now, do either one of you guys see Roxanne getting another shot in the UFC? I mean, obviously the Ultimate Fighter on the show, tough. She was in the house. She did pretty well in there. Made a name, became even more popular. She's got a huge following. Do you guys see her getting a shot at the UFC anytime in the future, or do you think that she's going to end her career up in Invicta?
You want to go first? No, I think everybody got something to say.
Well, I was going to say, I think that by next year, if the UFC don't put in the 125ers, I think they're crazy. Simple as that. Yeah. I mean, there's so much talent there that's just like itching to come through. And you got to remember, you got the 115ers, like you got Jessica I that's really a natural 125er anyway, stepping up, and you got vice versa. So, they might as well just fill that gap and be done with it, and then let the natural talent fall where it should anyway. So to me, that's what I'd be doing if I was them. I'd let that 125 division fall in and let them all come in.
What do you think, Jay?
I think if Roxanne puts on performances like what I first knew her for in the first place, which I think with her stand-up improving, like her fight with KGB was definitely a good one. She's definitely got more to go on because, I mean, look at her fight with Porto, but Porto's Porto in my opinion. And I think if she gets finishes, I see her definitely having a shot back in the UFC because when she does a finish, you know it. You know what I mean? I mean, if you look back at who she fought, at that point in time, like, it was more about grit. So I think she's definitely fought it, you know, before there was as many rules and stuff like that. So blind as a bat or no, I mean, she's definitely got what it takes to do that. And the thing is, when you're in it for so long, you lose that edge.
That's it.
Like with Tanya, like she said, you gotta put yourself big in. Like Shayna Baszler said, you know, when I got into the tough house, I didn't have that urge to fight like it was for my life, you know. So that's just a part of it, you know.
Yeah.
That's worse than ring rust, in my opinion.
Well,
ring rust, at least you long for it.
And the big thing about it is the experience isn't always a benefit. Everyone looks to experience as always a positive and a benefit. It's not always. You can become, lose that drive. You can become very, rely on that. You become real comfortable, and that hunger slowly disappears. Again, and it happens with champions because what do? They fight to not lose, and that's the difference. I think Roxanne, coming off that last defeat, has got something to prove. I think she understands how important this fight is, and I look for a really competitive fight there. I've heard a lot of people think that Roxanne's going to get walked over. I think it's going to be a competitive fight. I'm looking forward to that fight. But a fight that I'm really looking forward to is Rachel Ostrovich and KGB Lee. That's going to be, I mean, come on. You've got KGB Lee, awesome boxing skills. Like you said, Jay, Golden Gloves. Her husband's in there helping her. She's got some power, but look at Rachel as well. Again, big boxer, heavy hands. Do you see it as a slugfest? And I want to go to you first, Aaron. Do you see this as a slugfest, or do you think it's going to be the typical canceling each other out and they go to the ground?
No, I think it's definitely stand-up. I'm out of this one. I'm not picking anyone.
Well, you can't pick. It's
we can't have two, like LUBMMA sponsored fighters and me picking anyone. So
listen.
So I'm just gonna fence it, But I see it as a stand-up, and I think it's going to be a really good fight. I think it's going to be probably, if anything, I think it's probably going to be right up there with one of the big fights of the night, just because it's going to be a bit of a sleeper.
Yeah. Listen, I hate picking in this one as well, Aaron, and for obvious reasons. And for me, what it comes down to is who's hungrier, who is ready for this opportunity, because it's a big opportunity. Now, Jay, I'm expecting a pick from you, my brother.
Jay,
what do you see happening in this fight? I mean, who's going to walk away with it, and how are they going to win? Is it going to be a KO? We're going to get a decision? What do you see happening?
I expect a knockout. If anything, a TKO, because they both fought in Houston. Rachel, that was what first fight that night. It's definitely set the standard. Everybody loved it.
Yep.
But when you look at KGB's fight that night, definitely didn't go her way. And I think the fact is I was hanging out with all of them afterward and stuff like that. And as her husband Donnie put it, he's like, stop being like a retard. You know better than that. And I was like, you know what? She after that surgery she had, and she had ear surgery and all that, she went ahead, put some gloves back on, and did a kick-ass fight after that. And I think that, she's ready to go back in there and beat some ass and throw that hat up in the air. And then drink some apple pie moonshine, because that's what I'm bringing.
Let's see.
I think she's going to take it. I think it's going to be a damn good fight. I don't think it's going to be an easy one, but I think she's got the edge going for it right now. And based off of what I've seen from Rachel's fights, you know, she definitely goes in there, she puts in work, but it's not like her goal is to decimate her opponent. I think KGB is going to go back at that because she's got that put back in. I think she's young. And she got put up against Roxanne, and I think that's a huge mental thing for her right there.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So
a big learning experience as well. You know,
yeah, definitely.
I think she's grown from that.
Shot this fight too, that one.
Yeah.
It was 2 weeks notice or 3 weeks notice.
Yep. Yeah, it was a short notice, and she didn't hesitate. She took it. And that says a lot about her. And I know speaking with her, she is a deadly serious competitor, as is Rachel. Listen, they're both elite at the level. They have incredible power in their hands for the division. And I think it's going to be a rock'em sock'em fight. I don't really see the ground coming into play very much unless someone gets hurt, because we both know what happens. Someone catches a shot, they go down, it turns into either a ground and pound or a submission. You know, so I think that this fight is going to be one of the most exciting fights on the card. But I've got one that's kind of a favorite to me, because I'm a little partial to Cindy Ganwai. I really respect the hell out of her, and I respect Megan Anderson as well. And she's got a lot to prove in this debut. Cindy's moving up, going to fight at 145 in this fight. Megan Anderson is long. She is a monster. You look at that body type, that woman is in shape. Yeah, she's a stud. Now, this is going to be a tough fight for Cindy. I think, personally, the experience factor is going to really play into this fight. And I think the debut for Megan, listen, it's a lot on the line. She's got a lot of attention. It's her first fight on this stage. I think that's going to be a factor. I think we get out of the first round, we might see Megan start to gas. Cindy's not cutting weight. She's moving up. I see it as a benefit, and I'm going to go with Cindy in this.
I agree. I'm definitely, how long ago did Cindy start fighting? I don't even remember.
Well, she's training with Miesha Tate. I mean, you know.
After, since like her career got out there. So, Megan, I found out about Megan, honestly, maybe 9-10 months ago, or something like that. She got 2 submission wins, 2 decision wins, and 1 loss. I don't remember what, probably by decision. I checked out her fights. I forgot which one of the girls it was, but she just blazed through her and then turned it into submission. I mean, I like fights like that because I get a little bit of everything. Better than just hitting you again. I think it's going to be a very entertaining fight, but I think Cindy's experience is definitely going to play a factor in that for real. Yeah. Because, barrage of punches and stuff like that, and you're that hungry, as long as you know how to wait the right time and stuff like that, you can get past that. Yeah. I think that's how it's going to go down. I'm not sure how, but I think Cindy's going to get it.
Now, Aaron, let me ask you, I think so as well, Jake. But Aaron, I've got to ask you, because Megan, listen, you watch her fight, you see those elbows, those knees, her length. I mean, that is an obstacle to overcome. But then again, we've got Cindy training with Miesha Tate and just a bunch of monsters over there. That's got to really help her, not only in her skill set, but mentally. I won't ask you to pick the fight, but let me ask you this. How do you see these two matching up, and who's got the advantage in your opinion?
Yeah, no, I agree with both of you guys. I think it's kind of almost like a bull versus the matador type situation. Like, you've got a big powerhouse in Megan, and then you've got the skill sets and the experience going with Cindy. But of course, she is stepping up. I mean, she has fought at featherweight, but not for a while, and she is more of a natural 135er. So she's stepping up against a natural 145er. So you kind of, she's going to use her skill versus the power, if that makes sense. Yeah. But at the end of the day, too, you got to remember, exactly as you said, she's not only training with Miesha, but also Brian Caraway. So her wrestling's going to be up onto par as well. So she's done the groundwork for the game. So I kind of see her taking the win too.
Yeah,
I don't think it's an easy fight by any stretch of the imagination. Like Megan's the Rochambeau champion here in Australia, so that's a pretty good crown in her cap. But yeah, I still see Cindy taking it. Yeah.
But it's going to be a tough fight. There's no doubt about it. I think Megan has a bright future. I really do. She's got the skills, the length, the talent, and the drive. I think we're going to really see how, stepping up and being under the spotlight like she's going to be in this fight, how she reacts to that. And I think that's really gonna play out, because if she gasses, it's going to be that adrenaline dump. It's going to be, not getting the victory quickly like maybe you're expecting. So I hope she's not underestimating Cindy, because I think Cindy's coming in there to win, and I think her experience is going to be the difference in this fight. Now we got to get up to Jamie Moyle. I love Jamie Moyle. Man, she's a beast. 3-0. She's going against Sharon Jacobson. Again, she's 3-1. I watched her fight Delaney, and she suffered that big old. I don't know if her orbital was broke or not, but boy, it was an impressive fight, though. You got two girls here that have ground skills and wrestling ability, and that's the strengths on both of them. How do you see, Jay? Now, when you look at this fight, how would you break it down for Jamie Moyle? What does Jamie need to do to win this fight?
First off, she needs to understand Krispy Kreme is a better donut than Pink Box. But after that,
And she does. We did have that conversation. Go ahead.
Once she gets her diet down right, I think all will be understood for her. I think she's definitely got the striking advantage. I think her wrestling I don't think it's as good as Sharon's from what I've seen. I definitely think Sharon's stronger. And she's definitely a lot meaner. You saw her push her down, and then she's like, "Yeah, I did that shit." And I was like, "That's what I'm talking about." So it's definitely opposite in personalities. But I think Sharon's got more power. I think she's got stronger punch too. But I think Jamie's striking and the fact that she does have good wrestling, I think that's enough for her to keep it at bay. I think it's more of who's paying attention to what as far as the wrestling's concerned. But if there's distance going, I see Sharon trying to go for takedowns and Jamie trying to make sure she's got some good short knees or something like that, keep her at bay. I really can't say who I think is going to win. I talked to both of them. I definitely think they're both cool people. But I do think that it's probably going to go third round. If there is a finish, I think it's going to happen there too. Really, this is the final card I'm looking forward to most, because I don't really have an expectation for it. Right. I think either way it could happen as long as they keep going for it. And Jamie's definitely the most high energy fighters in the Invicta roster. She definitely throws a wide variety of strikes, and she never stops moving, and she'll go for a submission just as quick. And we have seen that Sharon's not going to let bruises stop her from being totally aggressive and not giving a fuck. So yeah, I'm all for that formula.
Well, that's it. She comes forward and she comes in there to fight. You're exactly right. Moyle, with her footwork is great, but her energy level, and she maintains that throughout the entire fight. Now, Aaron, if you're looking at these two girls coming into this fight, what sticks out to you the most as far as a benefit or an advantage for one of these girls?
Well, I think Jay summed it up really well, actually. There's not a lot more you can really kind of add to that in terms of the depths. Like, I think for me, I'm going to actually pick Jane Moyle. I think she's going to take it, but it will be a decision. I don't think there's going to be anything that's going to stand out and kind of it's going to be just a tough fight, and it's going to be I think it'll actually be a stand-up because they're both good wrestlers, and I don't think it's going to get to the ground like that. Or if it does, it'll be to the ground for a few seconds and then bang, they're both again. But yeah, I think it's just going to be a tough, hard-fought, decision.
So
and Mine's taking it.
I've got to disagree with both you guys just because the fight's going to be finished. I can't tell you who's going to finish this fight.
You spit out. You're cut out of this bit.
Well, let me tell you something. If there's going to be a finish, I can't predict who. I really think these guys match up well. And I think Jay he summed it up perfect because you do have, both sides. The wrestling and the ground game, they're really strong. And normally that cancels it out. And you end up with a stand-up battle with a grappling against the cage type of fight. And it's going to be a grueling fight. And I think we're going to get a finish in it just because you guys don't. So I'm going to.
I said we might, but it'll be in the third round, okay?
You're the semantics, Jay. Finish. There's going to be a finish. All right. Now I'm partial to this one, right? Because I've got this fighter lives in my backyard, basically. Amanda Bobby Cooper, and she's going up against Aspen Ladd. And you've got both of these, Bobby Cooper, Golden Gloves, multiple times. Striker, her boyfriend is, James is incredible on the ground. He's a beast, the guy is. So Amanda's got some ground game, but she's got some power in her hands as well. And so does Aspen. Aspen, I only got to see a little bit of her fight, but she's got some big strikes as well. Now, you guys, again, we were talking about wrestling, canceling each other out. It goes to the ground or stays to standing up. Now we've got two strikers. I think they're going to stand and bang. I really do. Jay, please give me your opinion on this one.
I think it's definitely going to be a stand-up. Like, if you watch Aspen's fight for Invicta, it was on the ground most of the time, but, she got taken down by a flip and then switched it over, kept on the ground the whole time, didn't get a referee's going to stop it.
Control.
And then she just kept working on, getting those hits. And I think the whole thing was for her is, she don't want to be on the ground, but you gave her the top, she's going to go with it. I think she wants to be able to get those hits in. And plus, when you got somebody who's, as popular as ABC is, you do want to make a name for yourself or something like that. You're both starting out fresh in Invicta, you know what I mean? This is going to be Aspen's second fight in there. So it's kind of like you do want to be able to do something and do that. And at the end of the day, if you find out, okay, maybe she's getting me right here, then you can go to the ground, but I don't think that either of them are going to want to, just based on what I've seen to them. And I think it really just goes down to the fact that they want to show who's better. ABC is definitely all about, getting those hits, and she does pro boxing.
Well, listen, ABC's coming off of a really bad knee injury. And now, Aaron, I'm curious, because an injury like that is not just a physical thing, it's a mental thing. And that's one of the hardest things to get over. And I'm just speaking from experience myself. It's really difficult to mentally come into that first fight after such an injury and be 100% confident. Do you think that's going to play a factor in this fight at all?
I don't. No, I don't think it will. Because she's done the joint training camps with KGB and a few others, and I just put a big amount of faith in her and her partner. He's not called the Phenom for nothing. James Gray, his ground game is just crazy. So, I don't think that it's going to go there just because of that. And if it does, I think Bobby's going to probably do an upset in that regard, just like that. So I don't think it's going to go there. So I see how boxing is just going to take it to, on a stand-up level. So I'm actually going to call it and say that I think, ABC is going to take it.
Beautiful. I agree, guys.
I think she'll be really, really hungry to prove a point.
Yeah, and you know what? When you watch her train, and I was lucky enough to go over there to the SFS gym and watch these guys train. And listen, Bobby, even she was injured at the point, but she was still able to get in and hit pads, and she really turns her punches over. She punches from the ground up. She gets a lot behind those shots, and she punches in combination. That is the key right there. It's not a 1-2. It's a 1-2-3-4. That's what's going to win the fight for ABC. Yeah. Well, you know what? I'm going to tell you something.
If you look at some of her old boxing footage, like, I mean, she really clamps down, you know, like, I mean, well, exactly as you said, it's like a proper boxer.
Yeah.
She clamps down and it extends right through. So, it's, you know, I think it's, yeah, it's a good thing for her. She's just going to be combining that with the ground game that she's really developed.
Yep.
It's fantastic, yeah.
For me, the bottom line comes down to, again, dealing with that energy, that emotional, huge adrenaline surge that you get coming into a fight. Coming off an injury like that, debuting on this stage at this level, it's such a big fight, you know, for both of these young ladies. And it's going to be who really can deal with that, because, again, Amanda, she does put everything into those shots. You can't always throw everything into it, and if you're missing, you're going to really be worn out. So I think this fight, I pick Amanda, but I'm curious how they both deal with the lights, the pressure, you know, and then with Bobby coming off that knee injury. So that's going to be the big one for me.
I agree.
Well,
I definitely agree with getting tired too. I feel like football factor.
Yeah, that's the thing I didn't really think of, the adrenaline dump, and I mean, even just coming off the injury, I guess, you know, she wouldn't have had that you know, year of just being used to going the rounds either. So it's a really good point.
Yeah. Well, listen, now we've got, obviously we can't go into detail on every single fight, but, you know, we've got Janine Ufray going, excuse my pronouncing if I'm wrong, I apologize. But we're in the 105 division, going against Liz McCarthy. We got a 3-1, 2-1. You know, McCarthy lost against, I think it was a split decision against Amber Brown, was it? In her last fight. This is going to be a good fight. I mean, this is going to be one of those non-stop energy fights, man. What do you think about it, Jay?
Gene Ufray.
Yeah, that quick?
I mean, for one, smart as shit. I mean, a lot of my favorite fighters I found out either had PhDs or some other shit like that, you know, correlation.
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, she got into Invicta, like, look at the fight they got her in there. She hit old girl, then hit her down further. I mean, and then, you know, like her fight with Cassie Robb, you know, like that was a lot quicker than, you know, people are expecting, you know, went straight for the submission. And, you know, if I recall right, Cassie was saying she was going to make her tap or something like that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it was like, then she had to go take a final the next day at school or something like that. So, I mean, like, you know, that's work ethic, you know what I mean?
It is. That's it right there, Jay. You're talking about how the correlation. And it's drive, it's determination and work ethic. And for me, that's the connection right there. What do you think about this fight, Aaron?
Yeah, I agree. I think Junior Frey.
Yep. Yeah, you know, I love watching the 105ers. A lot of people, you know, oh, there's no power. Listen, it's constant. They don't get tired. Extremely entertaining for me personally. And then we've got there was a change in this one with JJ Aldrich, and she's going against now Rosa Acevedos, right? She was a champ in a different promotion, a smaller promotion. Striker, big pace, man. She puts the pace on. Going against Aldrich. She lost to Jamie Moyle last time out. What do you think on this fight, Jay? Is this going to be one of those sleepers, do you think?
No. I think that I think if anything, Rose is gonna push the pace on there. You know, she's pretty popular for like her Superman punch. You know, like from what I see of JJ's fights, you know, those are the ones that kind of like drag out. I think with her trying to force it like that, not really gonna be able to go that way. So I'm curious to see, because I mean, you know, like I said, look at her last fight with Jamie. You know, she lost that. So I think that she's probably having to rearrange something or some strategy or something like that to go with that. So, I mean, if anything, she's forced to engage and knows ahead of time she's going to have to deal with something like that. So they're either both going to be, you know, trying to go into that. And if anything, maybe that might timid them both out. But if anything, I think it's going to stay standing for the most part, or at least attempt to be. And it's either going to be one-sided blitz or they're both going to crash into each other, and we'll see what happens after that.
Yeah. Aaron, you got a take on this one?
Not really, because I don't know much about her opponent, so I don't have a lot of depth on that. You know?
Yeah.
I'm gonna defer to Jay's Jay's expertise on that one.
You know what?
But saying that, I've got to say that you know, that I lost to Jerry Moyle. Like, I think I don't know. I'm a big fan of Jerry Moyle, so I think that you know, that she was underrated in that respect. So
yeah.
But aside from that, I just don't know enough about her.
I'm gonna go with Rosa in this one, and I'm going just because I love the striking. I love the pace. I've got to go there, and I'm gonna end the show, guys, on this one right here, the 155-pound division. That's right, 155. We've got Rachel Wiley and Felicia Spencer. Now, Jay, you're the man to know. You know what's up with these guys. What is going on with this fight? Who do you see winning? And do you think this division is going to grow legs and we're going to start seeing more 155ers?
I'm going to go ahead and talk about the fight first, because I'll probably have a lot more to say about the division. I don't know too much about Rachel Wiley. I was supposed to talk to her before, but scheduling issues. You know, I know some people back in KC that said she's definitely got well-rounded. I know she definitely, from what I heard, she definitely favors submissions. I saw 2 of her fights on the net. So I think she's more of like a brawler overall, from what I can gather. I know Felicia, she's just, you know, where the fight goes, if she's gonna go. I know she's definitely got some good wrestling on there. She's pretty damn busy too. She's a teacher, actually. Yeah. Based on what I've seen just off fight footage and energy, I think Felicia's gonna take this. I think it's definitely going to be a very good first fight. I think they yet again picked another smart one to start it off. I think it's going to be 2 people just going at it. Definitely expect some wrestling in there. I don't think there's really going to be any places they're going to be timid to take it. I think it's just going to be like a bar fight scene or something like that. And I'm all for that. You know what I mean?
Oh, listen, as a fan, we want to see the brawl. We want to see those guys go in and put it all on the line and take a chance at losing, right? You got to risk it. You got to go in there and go for it. Now, Aaron,
risk it.
Yeah, risk it. Now, Aaron, what do you see? 155-pound division. I know I keep harping on that. That's because I just don't see the women's division at 155, and I know Jay's going to jump all over this the second he gets a chance.
Yeah.
But I just don't see the 155 really growing legs. Even though, obviously, you know, there's plenty of women that could fight in that division. It's going to come down to talent level and everything, and that's what's going to push the division. Is there enough talent? Is it too thin? What do you think about this fight, Aaron? And what do you think about the weight class?
Well, I don't know. Like, I know a little bit about Spencer, but not much. And I hear that she's pretty good as an all-rounder, so
yeah,
I assume she's going to be the favourite going into it, but I don't know. So that's as much as I know about the fight. But the division, all I know is that if there's a knockout, it's going to keep going.
Yeah,
as simple as that.
Well said. Well said.
I mean, you got to compare it to the heavyweights in the guys division, don't you? Really?
Yeah.
For the day, like, that's what it is. It's the next. You know, I mean, the featherweights was the heavyweights, but this is really now going to become the heavyweights. So,
it is.
If it's, you know, knockout city, then people are tuning in. It's as simple as that. I mean, that's what people tune into the heavyweights for. You know, it's because you just don't know what's going to happen from second to second. So
anytime a fight could be finished with one punch, regardless of the weight. people are going to watch. They're going to really be interested. Now, I'm running tight on time, but Jay, I got to hand it over to you, brother. Tell me about this 155-pound division you're so excited about.
Okay, well, first off, a lot of these girls, they do cut weight. And as we talked about yesterday, the weight classes are changing, whether you like it or not. And it's going to have to go up higher to fill that gap in there. So either way, it's going to grow. Whether you want it or not, the laws are changing for it.
That's true.
But, these women having to cut weight like that, they can, like Charmaine Tweet said, she fought at 155. Women should fight at their more natural weight. I'm a firm believer if you fight at what you walk around at, you're more healthy. Because science proves it, and in my experience, I fight better when I'm not hungry. So,
yeah.
I think definitely that's going to be a big push for it. But, the fact is forever, like, look in Japan, like, old girl from Russia, really big girl, she flipped you like nobody's business, and she was quick, too. Yeah, like Megumi Yashida fought her, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Huge size difference. Nobody cared back then. And let's not forget George Lucas' daughter, Amanda. She fought at heavier weight. She was pretty damn good.
Yeah.
So there's a whole lot of women out there that do that. It's just the fact is people don't know about them. Just like we don't know about these girls from other countries because I don't live there.
That's
but
right.
I say the more the merrier.
That's right.
Just get more fights more often.
Well, you know what? I agree. I want to see the best in there fighting the best, and whether it's at 155, 105, 125, I really don't care. I want to see these girls get in there, put it all on the line. That's, as a fan, that's what we're watching for. That's what we want to see. I want these girls to get some attention. I think that, the more people stop and take a look, you're going to understand that this is some quality, high-level elite athletes in there performing for us, the fans. It's incredible. I love it personally. I know Aaron loves it. Jay, obviously, you've never missed an Invicta card. I'm excited about this, guys. I really am. I think it's going to be a really good card. I'm looking forward to it. I know for LUB-MMA, we've got a new page that we came out with. Aaron, maybe you could touch on that real quick.
Yeah, cool. Well, we've got our official weekly rankings for all the, take it back, I was going to say, for all the divisions. We still haven't got around to getting the atom weights on there yet, but we'll get that up soon enough. But that combines not only the top 15 each week are updated on the global rankings, so it includes any promotion across the board. But it also has their a little bio for each fighter and the stats, the rankings, previous fights. But it also has like a quick link to all of their social media, so you can view all their social media on the one page as well. So if you wanted to look up, I don't know, let's say Janet Bennett, you can just click on the social media section, and they'll have a Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram all on the one page, so it's an easy way to keep up to date with stuff as well, rather than going through different apps to keep up to date with your favourite fighters. So it's a pretty cool little section. It
is. I'm excited about it, and it's a lot of work. Aaron is busting his ass to do it. I'll tell you, there's a lot of fighters and a ton of work. So hats off to you, Aaron, for doing it, because I think it's awesome. I think it's really great for the fighters, and I know it's awesome for the fans. Listen, you guys, check LUBMMA out. While you're on there, go to YouTube and subscribe. Get a chance to see all these great shows we're doing. For Aaron, for my buddy Jay, for LUBMMA.
We've got two competitions too.
Well,
they've got one competition at the moment as well. We've got the T-shirt competition with Andrea Lee, Rachel Ostovich, Amanda Babakupa.
Exactly.
So that one's going to be drawn, I think, the day before the fight.
I believe you're right. And we've always got something going on. There's always something. Right? So, I mean,
I know.
You'll never know if you don't go. LUBMMA.com. Hit it, check it out. Subscribe to the YouTube channel. Listen, guys, it was awesome. I'm looking forward to the next one because my picks are going to be right. They always are. So, for my good buddy Jay, for my partner Aaron, for LUBMMA, I'm Dan Cox. This has been your special edition of MMA Update.